It just gives you belief in yourself to achieve goals, generally.
It's really changed me as well. I feel much more physically capable and much more confident.
It's that mental focus, that clarity that you have to get to, and that's where I find my escape in parkour. Parkour is about moving from one area to the next, taking all those movements in together and linking them all and making it efficient and fluid. It's a constant evolution of movements to try and find the best way, the quickest way to clear over that obstacle.
Just literally and physically, it's just being able to move efficiently and kind of not being trapped by your surroundings.
Parkour is a way of life, not just, it's not sport. It teaches interacting with your obstacles, always striving for progression and achievement is a big part of it.
This is one of the areas I train in. It's nothing too fancy, nothing too brilliant. Over here, you'll see an old swing that's basically been disused. The swing part of it has been taken off. And I've actually spoken to the kids and said, well, where do you play? Well, we used to play here at the swings, but it's broken now. For us, it's a good place to practice climbing up, swinging on the edges, balancing on top of the railings. It really is a good playground. Every time we come here, there's almost new things we're experiencing or we're finding out about the area, which is exciting. It means that it's not dead, it's alive.
I really like this place. It's one of the first places I came to train that has an element of height. There's a good bit just over there that has sort of 2 or 3 levels to it, and there's a lot of railings. Part of parkour is sort of subverting the use of sort of urban architecture and to move in a different way. And this is one of the few places in Teddington that isn't a place specifically designed for people to go and do something. So for me, it's a really good place and really sort of the embodiment of parkour.
This place is just across the road from my house. I train here quite a lot. There's quite a lot to do actually. There's like windowsills here. I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. Try and get the whole way across. There's a few dodgy bricks around. I guess it's because there used to be like a few older people who lived around here with like youths that had nothing to do, kicking walls down and things like that. This is probably the worst one. You can just see how much that moves there when I pull on it. It's just about to collapse, really. I have to make sure when I'm climbing up that I don't pull on it this way, that I only press upwards. Because, I mean, if I pulled back on it, it would just come down onto me, and it's a fair way down there. That would hurt.
Parkour for me is a way to escape from my 9-to-5 job and work during the week and during the day. It's got good values, it's healthy, that little bit of danger, which keeps the adrenaline going, which is always good. I'm constantly searching for that progression to make sure I can progress to that ultimate level of instinctive movement. I look at things differently now. It's changed the way I see buildings and structures. So the physical side of it, I'll always be looking around, looking up into the sky and saying, oh, that's a nice building. I wonder what that's going to be like on top of the roof, to maybe jump from there to there. It's becoming a bit more fun to walk through the city. This railing, for instance, is one that's very loose at this end. not always good to go and climb on a railing that's that loose, but for us it's a game because right on the other end of the railing it's pretty sturdy and fixed. So we'll get on that side and move our way over here, and it'll get worse and worse as we sort of get to the end. As you move through here, it starts wobbling more and more and more and more. I can't get here yet. I'm about here, around this area. Both Nick and I are around about this area. Oh. When you're younger, you're shorter, lower center of gravity, and you're less likely to fall off a balancing rail.
Oh. Good. Almost.
If Tig got to the end, I'd be very upset because we've been training on this for a very long time.
Yes. Ooh.
Oh. A bit of a competition between us. We do wish each other on and make sure that we can both try and do it, but it's a bit of a game.
My mentality before parkour was non-existent, pretty much. Didn't have any goals, didn't have anything to achieve, didn't have anything to do. And parkour was something that gave me a practical means of exercise, and it also allows me to teach people, pass on their practicality, and pass on skills. When you're after your full extension, when you're going to come into land, literally just try and flex your legs forward, and they flick forward, so you get a bit more distance, and it sets them forward so that you come into land
like an angle.
At an angle, so that you can absorb it and stay still, as opposed to landing either straight or over balanced.
Okay.
Which means you don't land on the spot.
So you don't float across the land.
Teaching parkour is brilliant because I know how much I've gained from parkour, and I know how much my mentality has changed since doing parkour, and if I can inspire other people to think and act the same way, then that's great.
You'll be right then. You'll be all right.
I've seen him do harder ones.
Yeah? Should be easy then.
Could be. Just thinking too much.
Go on, Tig. Go on.
Yes, Tig.
Oh! That's the biggest level arm jump I've ever done.
Nice one, mate.
Hey, well done.
That was
well
good.
done.
It was like, oh, when am I going to land?
Hang time.
So tell me,
Oh,
what does it feel like? What's that?
So nice.
All good, man.
That's an achievement.
All good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
well
is.
done, man.
It
That
is.
caps
Well
off a day.
done. Well done, man.
Before parkour, I was much less confident, and I used to get stressed out and kind of depressed very easily, and I guess it was just an accumulation of really small, petty problems, like with friends and schoolwork and parents, and just like constant arguments, and it just kind of built up, and I let things get to me so easily. Parkour kind of teaches you to apply this mentality of overcoming obstacles to not just when you're training, but pretty much all of your life.
You get out of it as much as you put in. The more training you do, the more confidence you get, the faster you'll get, the stronger you'll get, the more fun you'll have, which means you're going to go out more, and it's just sort of an exponential growth. Anyone can and should try it, regardless of age, gender, race, whatever. Just get out and try it.
Yeah. Nice.
one, Nick.
I get a mixed reaction from onlookers or passers-by when we're practicing parkour. The initial, oh my goodness, what are they doing? to people who might have seen Jump London or might have seen an advert or something with it in. And those people are generally more open. They understand what parkour's about. They've been educated, so to speak. They have an idea of what it is.
People just think I'm a nutter. I kind of stand out a bit and people think, oh, what is he up to?
The reason why some people would see it as a negative thing is, you know, if you're walking down the street and you see a group of teenagers jumping over walls or sort of just hanging around by a wall or something, then you get weird looks. Part of parkour is to preach sort of humility and respect for other people and the environment. So I mean, all of the trasseurs I know, regardless of their age, whenever they're out in public, are, to all sort of extents and purposes, sort of model citizens.
People who have got no clue of what parkour is generally feel, I think it's a fear of the unknown. It's more fear of the unknown. They don't know what to think. It's almost encroaching on their space. They almost feel, I don't like it.
I want people to realise that I don't want to damage things because that's a loss to me. If I damage the places where I train, I can't train there anymore, obviously. I respect the places where I train because I can see how unique the architecture is and how useful it is to me. I try to explain that to people. Not everyone can really appreciate it, but you got to deal with that.
There's people that don't necessarily like people that aren't acting normally, I suppose. But if they're willing to listen, then we're willing to try and change their opinion.
Even when I'm old and I can't physically train anymore, it will have shaped who I am.
It changes the way you look at everything. It will stay with me forever.
I haven't met anyone that does parkour that hasn't been affected by it in a positive way. It's the first thing I think of every day. It's just sort of worked its way into every aspect of my life, really.